One of the most popular interview questions is about Amazon CloudFront. The interviewer may ask, what is CloudFront, how does it work, and when should you use it? The short answer is that CloudFront is AWS Global Content Delivery Network, or CDN. It has over 400 edge locations worldwide that cache static and dynamic content closer to users, reducing latency, improving performance, and even protecting against DDoS attacks with built-in security features. Now let's dive deeper with real-world applications. In retail and e-commerce, companies use CloudFront to deliver product images, JavaScript, and CSS files quickly to customers around the globe. Without a CDN, customers in Asia accessing a server in the US might experience slow load times. CloudFront fixes this by caching content in edge locations closer to those users. In streaming and media, CloudFront is critical for video delivery. For example, a media company like Netflix or Disney Plus needs to deliver high-quality video with minimal buffering. CloudFront caches video segments at the edge and routes users to the nearest edge location, ensuring smooth streaming even during peak traffic. In finance, trading platforms use CloudFront to accelerate APIs that must respond in milliseconds. By caching responses and routing requests intelligently, CloudFront reduces round-trip times and improves reliability for traders who can't afford delays. In healthcare, CloudFront helps deliver patient portals securely. It integrates with AWS WAF and Shield to block malicious requests while ensuring SSL/TLS encryption. A hospital's global telehealth platform can securely serve patients worldwide with minimal latency. In gaming, CloudFront accelerates multiplayer game updates and downloads. Instead of millions of players all pulling gigabytes of data from a single origin server, CloudFront distributes the load globally. Now let's talk about the do's and don'ts. Do use CloudFront not just for static assets like images and CSS, but also for dynamic content, APIs, and even real-time streaming. Don't assume CloudFront is only for websites. It works for mobile apps, gaming platforms, and enterprise APIs. Do integrate CloudFront with AWS security services like WAF for application firewall rules, and AWS Shield for DDoS protection. Don't expose your origin servers directly to the internet, always put CloudFront in front as a security buffer. Do configure caching policies properly. For example, cache static files for long durations but keep dynamic API responses short-lived. Don't set one-size-fits-all caching rules, or you risk serving stale data. Now let's move into common interview questions. Question: what happens if a user requests content that is not already cached in CloudFront? Answer: the request is routed to the origin server, such as S3 or an EC2 instance. The content is fetched, delivered to the user, and cached at the edge location for subsequent requests. This reduces load on the origin for future users. Question: how does CloudFront help improve application performance? Answer: by caching at edge locations and routing traffic intelligently, CloudFront reduces latency, decreases origin load, and delivers faster response times. For example, a global SaaS company can cut page load times in half for users in remote regions. Question: how do you secure CloudFront distributions? Answer: you can enforce HTTPS with SSL/TLS, integrate with AWS WAF for rule-based filtering, use signed URLs or cookies for private content, and enable AWS Shield to defend against DDoS. In industries like healthcare or finance, these features ensure compliance with data protection regulations. Question: can CloudFront deliver dynamic content, or is it just for static files? Answer: it supports both. For example, in a banking application, static assets like images are cached, while dynamic API calls are routed intelligently through CloudFront to the origin, with caching policies set for short durations or even turned off for sensitive data. Question: how does CloudFront compare with other CDNs like Akamai or Cloudflare? Answer: CloudFront integrates tightly with AWS services, which makes it easier to set up with S3, API Gateway, or Lambda at Edge. While competitors may have larger global footprints in some regions, CloudFront offers strong integration, security, and cost efficiency within the AWS ecosystem. Now let's talk about challenges. One common mistake is overcaching. Developers sometimes cache dynamic data like user account balances for too long, serving outdated results. Another mistake is underusing caching, which means the CDN isn't delivering much benefit. Another challenge is cost management. If caching policies are not set correctly, CloudFront may forward too many requests to the origin, increasing costs. Best practice is to monitor CloudFront reports and tune cache behaviors. Finally, a word on real-world impact. For a global e-learning platform, using CloudFront reduced video buffering and improved course completion rates by 20%. For an online retailer, CloudFront helped reduce latency in Asia by more than 50%, directly increasing sales conversions. To recap, CloudFront accelerates applications by caching at the edge, routing requests intelligently, and integrating security. It's used across industries: retail, media, finance, healthcare, and gaming. In interviews, don't just define it. Show that you know how to apply CloudFront to solve business problems like reducing latency, cutting costs, and improving user experience.